Today's Saturday, March 21st, and this is news from the Frunk. Hey everyone, welcome to another news from the Frunk. Sorry it's been so long since the last one. We'll take this and probably the next episode to catch up on the news of the last 3 weeks. And then in the episode after that, we'll talk about the 6.2 software update that Elon just had the press conference about. So first up, some changes to the configurator on the website. Everybody who's bought a Model S goes to the Tesla Motors website and builds their own configuration, chooses a number of options. Tesla's made a number of changes to that over time, and they've just made a fairly significant change. They've taken away a couple of the options. The big change is that dual chargers are no longer available to be configured at the time of ordering. Normally you can charge the Tesla at about 30 miles for every hour when you're charging it at home. With dual chargers you can charge at 60 miles for every hour. Now that is only an aftermarket option. You have to go to Tesla service and have them install the second charger for you. They have changed the price in the US now. That's $2,000, whereas it was $1,500 at time of ordering. But for those of us who didn't get it when we first bought the car, it's actually now significantly cheaper than it used to be. In another change, the next generation seats, which were initially only available on the P85, are now available on any of the models, either the single or dual motor, the standard or performance version. Tesla also changed the price of a couple of the other options, so head on over to the Tesla configurator and check it out. Next up, some really old news, but I'd be remiss if I didn't cover it. A new Easter egg was discovered in the Tesla Model S software user interface. If you press and hold the T at the top of the screen for about 10 seconds and let it go, a little code box pops up, and if you type the right code, it will give you access to the service screens that give you all kinds of data. Now, no owners have access to that. That's only for the service technicians. But if you type in 007 into that box and hit OK, it changes the display on the suspension screen so that the picture of the Model S is replaced by the Lotus that was used in the James Bond film that turned into a submarine. That car, that prop, is actually owned by Elon, and he originally planned to turn it into a working submarine. He now decided that he's going to keep it as a prop because of the historical value, relating to that James Bond film. But he has said he is going to create an exact replica of that will be a fully functioning submarine. So if you want to have a bit of fun in the car, type in that code and change the display. Next up, in another piece of good news, adding to the very long list of awards that the Model S has won, Consumer Reports, possibly for the first time, has voted the same car its #1 car 2 years running, and that car is the Model S. Now some news in the don't category. A Tesla Model S owner in Issaquah in Washington State managed to put their Model S through the wall of a US bank. Fortunately, no one was injured, and also fortunately, after 27 months of owning Sparky here, Sparky is scratch-free. I hope that that will continue. Now, Supercharger news. When Tesla originally announced the Superchargers, the plan was that they would all have solar panels covering them, and that the solar panels would generate the electricity needed for those Superchargers. Turns out that to get planning permission for the solar panels delays the installation, and Tesla wanted to accelerate the rollout, so it decided it was going to build out the Supercharger network and then add the solar panels afterwards. Well, the Rocklin service center in California, it's about, I think, 20 miles from Sacramento, has become the first combined showroom, service center, supercharger center, and solar panel center. Whether we're going to see that replicated across the rest of the US and the world, I don't know, but it looks like the solar panels are finally coming. In range news, a user on the Model S forum, M. Corbin, recently did some testing of putting roof racks and bikes on the top of the car. So here's the little chart of his findings. I've paraphrased it a little bit, but essentially it's the same data. So he used the Yakima rack. It's the Yakima Skybox 18. So that's the pod that you see on the graph here. So he tried driving at 2 different temperatures, at 50 degrees Fahrenheit and at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, with nothing on the roof, with the roof rack and the Yakima pod on the roof, and with a roof rack with 3 bikes on the roof. And you'll see that there's a pretty significant range degradation when you start putting things up there. In the worst case scenario, at 20 degrees Fahrenheit with 3 bikes, there's a 40% decrease in range compared with a normal 65 mile an hour driving with nothing on the roof at 50 degrees. All those tests were done on the same stretch of road at the same temperature each time, with exactly the same air conditioning and the rest of it. So the only thing that changed was what's on the roof. So congrats to M. Corbin for doing those tests. Confirms what we know about the massive impact that drag can have on the range of Model S. Okay, that's it for today's episode. More news from the Frunk coming soon.